The third term is really lucrative for these criminals. For instance, the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Finance, and on behalf of these six, also runs a treasury bill scandal in the country, where people who were issued out with treasury bills in 2019, when we had a change of currency, when the Zimbabwe government could not pay these, some of them are business people, when they couldn't either provide the Zim dollar that these people had used to apply for money from the Reserve Bank, to apply to get forex from the Reserve Bank. We had a situation where, because of the change of the currency, these people were then issued with treasury bills by the government of Zimbabwe. Some of the treasury bills mature in 2042, some in 2047. But now the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Finance has created a market for these treasury bills, where if you hold $100 million worth of treasury bills, they persuade you to discount them. Some of the discounts get even to 80%. So you had a $100 million treasury bill. It's discounted. You are paid $20 million cash on that day. But here is the corruption. The government of Zimbabwe does not only fork out 20 million, it pays the total value of the treasury bill as if it is matured. So 100 million is paid to you, but you have a separate arrangement with the lawyers of Guamatanga and the cabal, where you are supposed to pay 80 million to them. So the 100 million is transferred to you, but you only take 20 million because that's what's due to you. The 80 million goes to this cabal. And it has been going on since 2022. This sort of black market, this corrupt deal for treasury bills. So that's the situation. So you have, on one hand, state assets being looted. The Kuvimba mining house example is one. We have an entity where government purportedly sold the mining entity 50% of their share for $21.5 million in 2019. Then Treasury and company then paid off the other Russian shareholder 38 million, a total of 60 million paid for that mine. Then they take some few other mines, add to that, form what is called the Kuvimba mining house, valued then at 220 million. That was the value. 220 million. So in 2023, when government wanted 975 million from Treasury and company, include working with the Minister of Finance, Mutuli Ngube, working with the permanent secretary in the Ministry of Finance, revalued the same mine. The same mine that was valued at 220 million is now valued for 1.5 billion in 2023 for the purposes of offsetting a $975 million debt that Treasury had with government of Zimbabwe. So they said 65% of the shares in Kuvimba Mining House is equivalent to 975 billion. They remain with 35%. This is 2023. Come 2024, the same mine is revalued, and now using CBZ capital owned by Treasury, the value rises from 1.5 billion to 5.4 billion. Then after it has been revalued, they say now we are selling our shares 35% for 1.9 billion. They get 1.9 billion. They go to CBZ. Sorry, they go to CBZ. They sell. They discount their treasury bills because government paid them with treasury bills. They get 600 million. They do whatever they want with the 600 million. But now their company called CBZ holds the $1.9 billion treasury bills with a 5% per annum interest. So now, through CBZ, they're getting 23 million per every quarter, which amounts to 100 million a year just from the interest rate accrued. So they are earning $100 million just from interest, from the sale of 35% shares. This is before the Treasury bills mature. Maybe in five years they will mature. But before that, they would have accrued $500 million just in interest. And this $100 million a year is paid and is given preference for payment to anything else. We have a situation where even civil servants are not paid. But the 23 million US dollars per quarter is given priority. It's paid because it's distributed among these thieves, who include even the president of the country. The president is held hostage because of his mental status. He has been held hostage. And those that are holding him hostage, including his family, are those that are seeking a third term for him. The Kudakwa Shetagwireis, the John Panonetsa Mangujiga, the Guamatanga permanent secretary in the Ministry of Finance, the family of the president who are involved in this looting are the ones that are pushing for the third term. So the president has no say in this because he has no mental presence to understand what is happening around him. Decisions are being made at Pricabe Farm, at his farm in Kwekwe, more than 200 kilometers away from State House. That's where decisions are being made. And the fact that the president says officially that he's not seeking a third term, and everything else that is happening around him from his own ministers, the Minister of Local Government is a vehement campaigner for the third term. And his family and all these who are involved in looting national resources are pushing him. They are saying a different language. So it shows that the president is not in control. If he was in the few moments that he regains consciousness, he talks about being a constitutionalist. But because he's held hostage by those that are really in control of executive powers and are exercising executive powers on his behalf, the surrogate presidents that have said, Yo Kudakwa Shetagwireis, he is being railroaded to a third term. That's the unfortunate. The third, Comrade Joseph Shingua and others who are war veterans have taken the president of the country to court and the Minister of Agriculture to court, and they are seeking relief in terms of Section 2, subsection 1 of the Constitution of Zimbabwe, which states that any other provision or any other action that is ultra vires the Constitution of Zimbabwe is illegal, it's unconstitutional, and therefore a nullity. So the President of the Republic of Zimbabwe on the 8th of October 2024 and on the 2nd of December 2024 purported to be giving or to be selling land to beneficiaries of the land reform that we did in 2000, in the year 2000. And he has actually created an illegal parallel structure, which is called the Land Tenure Implementation Committee, which is headed by one of his most corrupt colleagues called Kudakwa Shetagwireis. He is the one who is heading that committee. And that committee is the one that is now selling land to beneficiaries of the land reform, which we undertook from the year 2000. And this is what the war veterans are challenging. They are saying the actions of the president are illegal, the actions of the president are unconstitutional, and even the instrument that he's using, which is headed by Kudakwa Shetagwireis, which is called the Lands Implementation Committee, it's outside the provisions of the Constitution, because our Constitution provides in Section 297 for a lands commission, and the lands commission is the one which is supposed to be seized by issues to do with the land tenure system in the country. The possibilities of success are there because the Constitution is very clear on what needs to be done if the government wants to alienate land. It's provided for in section 293, subsection 3 of the Constitution. It specifically demands that when the government wants to sell land, there should be an act of parliament that precedes that action. But as we stand today, every piece of agricultural land in Zimbabwe is owned by the state. And this is provided for in section 290 of the Constitution and section 72 of the Constitution. Section 72 of the Constitution had the legal effect of cancelling all title deeds that the former white colonial farmers held. So as we speak today, all agricultural land in Zimbabwe vests in the state. And if the state wants to give that land to anyone else, then it has to enact an act of parliament as provided for by section 293, subsection 3 of the Constitution. But what the president did was to create an illegal parallel structure called the Lands Implementation Committee, which is headed by Tagwire. And solely, this is a corrupt arrangement that he did in order for him to raise funds from the sale of land in order to push for his illegal stay in power until 2030. That's the situation. And any reasonable judge, any reasonable court official who will preside over this matter surely has a very easy task, because the law is clear. The instruments that the president used are outside the Constitution, therefore they are illegal. And it's really an easy matter. But there is a problem because the first thing that this president did was to capture all state institutions. He has captured the judiciary. He has even captured the Treasury. You find out that he has brought in people that are not elected, people that are outside government, and these are the people that he has used to capture the Treasury. He has used them to capture the judiciary. So anything is possible. You might find out that this court case can be thrown out, but in terms of legal merits, it should be upheld.